Welcome to the beautiful harbour city of Sydney in the stunning state of New South Wales. A tourist dream, gorgeous by day and even more captivating by night. The perfect place to host our first ever night race. Round 2 of the MyBike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motor with thanks to Destination New South Wales and Feel New Sydney. It's been 3 years in the making, but we are back at Sydney Motorsport Park, a world-class facility and Grand Prix track, and for the first time ever the Superbikes are under lights. Hi, I'm Kate Keck, and with me is ASBK champion and World Endurance champion Steve Martin. Now Steve, this place is probably looking a little bit different than when you were here last racing and winning your 1999 ASBK championship.
Well, we didn't have lights back in those days, Kate, it was that long ago, but as you can see it's heading to be dark here now, and there are lights, so it's going to be a fantastic night of racing for the first time.
Now we're heading into round 2, but let's take a look at what went down at round 1, Phillip Island, where it was hot at the front of the field.
Oh, it certainly was hot. There was all sorts of action, and what a place to be and what a place to watch the first race of the year. There was lots of riders up the front of the pack, and I tell you what, going into that round, no one knew who was going to come out on top.
Well, I tell you what, someone did come out shining, and that was Josh Waters riding the Ducati for McMartin Racing. A perfect weekend for him.
Well, I don't think he put a foot wrong the whole weekend there down at the island. He's a bit of a specialist down there, but I tell you what, the way that he got pole, the way that he won those races has got everybody scared.
Let's get reacquainted with the track ahead, the Sydney Motorsport track with yourself and Penrite Honda's Troy Herfoss.
When I think back, probably my all-time favourite race of the ASBK has been here at Sydney Motorsport Park 2019. You nearly took the championship out. It was a tough day, but it proved to me one thing. This was one of your favourite tracks.
It was an incredible day. Just so many passes. This track just offered so much great racing. And unluckily for me, Mike was happy to punch on as much as I was on that day, so we had a great battle, and there's so much to talk about at this track.
Well, one thing's for sure, you know your way around it. Let's have a look at it and see what you think. You head down the straight 300 k's an hour to start off with into turn 1, 200. You're knocking off 100 k's an hour into a very short period of time. It must feel pretty hairy going in there.
Mate, it's a scary corner because it's you've got to brake late, but it's so fast to the middle of the corner. You can adjust your braking markers by quite a lot, and a lot of passing opportunity there, but you really need to concentrate on your exit at turn 1. So it's not all about last of the late breakers.
It's pretty wide and open through that turn 1, but then you get down into that turn 2, the modal corner, hard on the brakes, and it's a long left-hander.
It is. This sets you up for the whole section, all the way through to Corporate Hill, which is up around turn 8. You're late on the brakes. You've got to make 2 apexes, get out tight, and get as much speed from 2 into 3, because if you don't have speed there, you're chasing your tail the whole way through 3, 4 and 5.
There's so much undulation through that part of the circuit as well.
Yeah, and these bikes have got 200 horsepower. You know, you're on the rear brake, you're muscling the bike. It's like doing gymnastics trying to stop the thing from doing a backflip because they've got so much horsepower.
As you go round that Corporate Hill and into Honda, the track changes up a little bit because you're like hard on the brakes. I mean, you really got to think about your braking into that corner there, don't you? Because it's a definite overtaking spot, and there's not much left to the finish line from there. That's right. There's so much undulation. And that first section of corners we're talking about, 3, 4 and 5, there's a lot of camber there, so you can be on the throttle hard. Then when you arrive up at turn 7, it's just so off camber, you can't open the throttle, and it's really important to try and drive down into underneath the riders into turn 8. Such an exciting part of the track. As you drive out of 9, you head up the hill through Michelin, that flip-flop there, it seems to me that it takes a lot of energy to get through there. That's got to be something you're thinking about over the course of the race.
This is physically a really hard part of the track because Michelin turn is so fast and so much force on the bike. When the grip goes away, it's quite hard to settle the bike to change direction for the last section of corners. It's not really a place you pass at, but it's only really like that because you want to get a drive onto the straight. On the last lap, sure, it's possible to pass into there, but it's just going to be really hard to drive to the finish line.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you get it all right, it's a bit of a blast down that straight, but hopefully you'll be smoking over the finish line in first place.
Yeah, and that's only 1 lap. Try doing 13, it's going to be fun.
Well, thanks, Troy. That's your Honda track preview for round 2.
Thanks, Dave.
This is your grid for the Alpine Stars Superbike Race 1. It is Crew Halliday starting from pole position, Mike Jones in second, and Josh Waters, our championship leader, joins them on the front row of the grid.
Troy Herfoss leads row 2 with Brian Starring next to him and Glenn Allen.
Third row is the fast starting Arthur CC's. Watch him on board bike number 61 off the start. Max Stouffer and Brock Pearson also on row 3 in position number 9.
Row 4 is Collins, Waters and Paris Hardwick. Row 5 is Josh Sutherland, Scott Alaz and Dominic Leon.
Row 6, Leanne Nelson, the only female rider in the Alpine Stars Superbike category, ahead of Michael Kemp and Nick Marsh. As the riders come round to take up their positions on the grid. Waters leads your championship after a perfect round at Phillip Island. 3 race wins and pole position.
Did you see Jones there? He's even got enough time to pull his tear off up, fold it up and then throw it away all folded up.
Well, very relaxed Mike Jones, probably a very nervous Crew Halliday on the front of the grid. As Sam Phillips leaves the front of the grid, we're ready to go racing for the Alpine Stars Superbike. Herfoss looking a little jumpy in position number 4. Superbikes are go. Great start from Crew Halliday. The first time he's got a cracking start that's in front of his home fans, and he'll peel into position number 2 as they make their way through Sydney.com corner. But it is Josh Waters on board the McMartin racing with K-Tech machine that leads them through and down into turn 2 for the first time. Great start from Allerton, great start from Herfoss.
Yeah, Herfoss got a really good jump. Allerton's right up there, like you said. That was so good to see from him. What he needed to do, but Crew Halliday right now will be going, thank goodness for that, because that is right where he needs to be to take it to the man who's out front, Josh Waters. They cannot let him get away.
Well, the one thing that Crew Halliday has always said over the last couple of years is that he can't get the bike off the line. What a time to pull out his best start in ages in front of his home fans at his favourite circuit after he's qualified on pole position. Look at him there, just stalking Waters into second position. But Waters, what he was able to do at Phillip Island, Steve, was just get out into the race lead early and just make everybody else fight amongst themselves while he cleared off into the distance. And you can see that's exactly what he's trying to do here on lap 1 of the Superbike encounter here for the Alpine Stars Superbike. Look at Jones. Jones is back behind Stouffer, and Stouffer is on an absolute charge. Remember, he did the full summer series. He's done plenty of laps around here of late, and his bike is very well set up, and he's looking the goods, is Max Stouffer.
Yeah, he's doing a good job out there at the moment in that 5th position with Jones behind him. Probably the worst start that Jones has had in a couple of years.
Well, we've seen the start, and one man that we have not been talking about so far is the fast-starting Arthur CC's. He's back in 7th position, and he's actually being stalked by fellow Yamaha rider Brian Starring on the Moto Go Yamaha. As Herfoss peels into turn 1, the Sydney.com corner in 4th position, but already a little bit of a gap starting to open up between Herfoss in P4 and Allerton, who is nailed to the back of Crew Halliday's Yamaha in position number 3. Tell you what, those two have had plenty of comings together around this circuit over the years.
Nice wide line there by the Honda man, Troy Herfoss. Pulls it back together though. But you can just see there's about a half a bike length difference more open between Waters and Halliday out front. Halliday's going to put the hammer down if he can.
Josh Waters did a 1:34.552 from a standing start. That is a blisteringly fast first lap for Josh Waters. In fact, the top 3 all into the 34s off the start in this first of our Alpine Stars Superbike races. 2 13-lap encounters here at round 2. The second of them, Steve Martin, a history-making event under lights.
Absolutely, can't wait to see that. But the conditions are perfect for lap records at the moment. And up the inside goes Mike Jones. Makes it count, hard to pass into that one, but he got through there on the Honda corner.
And here comes Arthur CC's as well, getting the better of Max, whose drive out of turn 9, the hairpin was compromised when Jones went up the inside. And Arthur said, thank you very much. He put the Unitech Yamaha through as Waters comes down onto the straight with a slight lead over Crew Halliday. Well, love to hear the different sounds of those bikes. The drone of the Ducati, it is so smooth when it changes gears. And then the Yamahas, the cross-plane crank. And of course, the screaming 4 cylinders of the Kawasaki's that are a little bit further back in the field. But at the moment, it is Glenn Allerton, the only inline 4 rider up there on that BMW M1000RR. And at 29.001, first flying lap, Waters means business.
Yep, new lap record for Josh Waters, 29.1 for Crew Halliday. He's not hanging around either. And Glenn Allerton's in there too with the 29.6. That's way quicker than he went in qualifying. Allerton couldn't even get out of the 31s. Now he's banged in a 29.6. Good job.
Well, the previous lap record was actually held by Wayne Maxwell at 29.7. They haven't broken the lap record. They've literally torn it to pieces.
Yeah, literally 3 guys have gone quicker so far, and I expect probably more will over the course of the race.
Looking back at this battle as Brian Starring, a very experienced rider. We thought he may have been lost to the championship when the Desmo Sport Ducati team went back to 1 rider, but MotoGo Yamaha was his saviour. And Starring putting on a good ride here. He had a solid first round of the championship at Phillip Island, and now he's trying to find his way past Arthur CC's.
Herfoss has had some sort of issue. He's gone down 4 spots. So something has happened to Troy Herfoss. He's had a moment somewhere.
A massive slide out of turn 12 there as he tried to get on the gas extremely hard. He left a massive big black line as he came out onto the My Bike motorcycle insurance start finish straight, and now he's got to try and find his way past the very rapid Max Stouffer.
It's going to be difficult for him to get on the podium from that point, that's for sure, with Allerton at least 2 seconds up the road. So it is a lot of pressure from Mike Jones now on the back of Glenn Allerton.
So it is Waters that leads by just under half a second from Crew Halliday in second place. 29.0 for Crew Halliday on that last lap. A 29.1 for Waters. So Jones and Glenn Allerton having a real ding-dong battle there.
So is Josh Waters and Crew Halliday. Like the lap times they're doing out front, 29.0. But back into the 30s now is Glenn Allerton, and Jones has definitely got the drive there. We saw him down into the Honda corner before make a move up the inside. Looks like he's going to try and do the same, and he goes up the inside, can't quite pull it off. Well,
you're going to have to get up pretty early in the morning to try and outbrake Glenn Allerton into turn 9, the hairpin there. He is extremely late on the brakes on board the new GT Motorsports BMW M1000RR, of course, making his debut for that brand new team here this weekend.
Tries that inside line there, can't do that through Dunlop.
Those two start carving each other up, and Brian Starring will be on them in a matter of moments. Look at him now trying to stalk them right behind.
Starring's come from nowhere. He literally has come from nowhere. So Starring's doing a really good job out there at the moment. 29.8, his fastest lap last time through.
Jones is through on Allerton. You can see Glenn Allerton's bike just starting to vibrate a little, it looked like, as he made his way through turn 1. I think that's because he tried to get in there so fast and stay with Jones. Look at them now starting to close up. It is Starring, then it's Arthur CC's, then it's Troy Herfoss clawing his way back into this dogfight. Of course, this is the battle for the last place on the podium, because Josh Waters currently leads by almost a second over Crew Halliday. Then we have got a 3.9 second gap back to Jones in third position, who is just starting to pull out a bike length here and a bike length there, Steve Martin, as he tries to make his way away from Glenn Allerton on board bike number 14, and Starring back wheel off the ground as we look at the AMX Superstore replay. Have a look at Glenn Allerton's machine here. You can see it. He was out a little bit wide, and then he tried to get on the gas. The bike was just bouncing over the little bumps there as he made his way through turn 1, the Sydney.com corner.
Yeah, at the same time, Mike Jones was siding up the inside. And talking about siding up the inside, Troy Herfoss is coming back from whatever happened to him earlier on in the race.
Well, we saw the 2019 highlights. That was one of the places where Troy Herfoss wasn't scared to put it on the brakes down the inside of anyone that wanted to try and challenge him on the brakes, and he's just done it again to Arthur CC's.
And he's left Arthur too. Look at that, gone through and 2 or 3 bike lengths. He's on a bit of a mission, is Herfoss.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to find out what happened to Herfoss early on in that race, because it doesn't seem to be hindering his pace now at all, as Mike Jones gets the board to tell him that there is 8 laps to go. We have completed 5 laps of this 13-lap journey. Herfoss sliding it through Sydney.com corner. Down into turn 2 we go now, with Brian Starring stalking Glenn Allerton. Of course, they were former teammates many years ago, and here's an AMX Superstores replay of Troy Herfoss on the brakes. That's a masterclass.
Yeah, absolutely. He ran wide in 2019. He got it right that time, didn't he?
You can see Jones has now extricated himself in this battle for 4th and 5th position, and has got a 1.1 second lead over Glenn Allerton.
Allerton on the GT BMW is struggling out there, looks like, with the handling.
Well, you can see Starring there trying to pull up the inside and goes down the inside very, very late. There was a lot of corner running speed there, but he's run a fraction wide, and Glenn Allerton, well, he said thank you very much straight away and is able to go back into the lead.
And look at Herfoss, he's caught right up to the back of these two.
He has, he's literally come from nowhere as well. His last lap was considerably faster at a 1:30.0 as opposed to Starring a 1:30.5 and Allerton a 1:31.
Yeah, that's the problem. Allerton's like
banking them all up. Let's go down to KP.
Yeah, I've just got a little update on weather. We can start to feel a few raindrops coming down. And I spoke to a couple of mechanics just inquiring about tyres, and it seems that everybody's on.
Well, there we go. Update from pit lane, a couple of drops of rain, but we have seen a couple of drops so far at several stages. Oh, Starring! All out of shape down in towards turn one there. How did he manage to stay on that motorcycle and keep it on line through
well, here we
turn one?
go. This time he's got it. On the brakes, he's just going to hold it together. He's gone in deep. Allerton's taking the inside line. Starring's wide. Herfoss goes through too. Can't quite do it. Boy, Starring has given it everything he's got, but Allerton, he knows how to hold his position.
Well, I tell you what, here is three of the latest breakers, most experienced men in the Superbike field, going hammer and tongs for positions 4, 5 and 6 in this first Alpine Stars Superbike race. Josh Waters, our leader, is still holding a lead, but it has come down a fraction. On the last lap, Crew Halliday was 0.2 of a second faster at a 1:29.179. Josh Waters, still the fastest man in this race with a 29.001, as Allerton tries to hold off a hard-charging Brian Starring. Herfoss is well and truly in this battle now, as Arthur Cece's also looks to try and draw himself forward. The battle is on for fourth place, Steve, as we have a look to our race leader, Josh Waters, currently 3/4 of a second ahead of Crew Halliday. Mike Jones holding down a very comfortable third position, but there's nothing comfortable about this battle.
No, definitely not. And it counts for the number 14 too, because he sits fourth in the championship at the moment, so he's not going to want to give away those 3 places from the riders behind him. He's got to fight tooth and nail, and I'll tell you what, he is fighting with everything he's got. Both of the other riders up the inside now goes Starring and Herfoss, and can't get through. Boy, he is good on the brakes as Alan.
Well, this is Mike Jones' 70th race start in the Australian Superbike Championship, and he's currently holding down third position.
Well, Herfoss has got past Starring now, so now we'll see what he can do on Alan.
So Herfoss takes a serious bag of points here, Stephen. He will go away from this having scored 2,000 championship points in the Australian Superbike Championship category over the many years that he's been campaigning.
That's a lot of points. And a few championships along the way. Should have probably been a few more, but you know, he's finished second in the championship here in 2019, and he was winning the championship up to this point here.
Oh, Herfoss on the brakes. I thought he was going to have a lunge up there inside there from the GT Motorsport Spectro Oils machine of Glenn Allerton. But Herfoss, how racy is he looking? The bike's starting to move around all over the place. When you were doing the track preview, we were talking off air, Steve. He said he thinks it's like riding a bucking bronco around the back of the track, and you can see it there as we go back to our leaders. Waters looking calm and composed as he completes 8 laps. So we're over half race distance, and Crew Halliday has not gone away anywhere. He's like a dog with a bone, chasing down our race leader Waters. On the last lap, Crew Halliday was 1/10 of a second faster than our race leader, Josh Waters.
The gap's down to half a second between those two guys now, so the pressure is on, still with a handful of laps to go. Especially
when Waters gets the lap board to let him know that right behind him is Crew Halliday, only half a second behind, and Josh Waters will know that Crew Halliday's done plenty of laps around this circuit, as it looks like Allerton has run a fraction wide, and Herfoss has taken full advantage.
No, Herfoss used the power of the Honda down the straight, blasted by, got a great drive out of the final turn, and just whisked on by, which has left Starring still behind Allerton. How frustrated will he be at the moment?
And Arthur Cece's still there as well. Great ride from Arthur. Next rider through after Arthur is Max Stouffer. Then 10 Collins on board the Livson Racing BMW in 9th, and Brock Pearson rounds out the top 10. Matt Walters on board the Aprilia RSV4 in 11th. Paris Hardwick, full-time debut this season in 12th position. Josh Soderlund in 13th.
Have a look at this, Phil. Have a look at what's happening up front. The number 21, Josh Waters, that gap's now down to 0.2.
He's being stalked by the local man, Crew Halliday. So it's the Mildura missile versus the local man. You can see Halliday there just takes a tear off. I don't think he folded it up, Steve. He got it off as quickly as he possibly could, and he's now set his sights on Josh Waters, the race leader on board the McMartin Racing K-Tech machine. as they make their way down to Mocha Corner turn 2.
Well,
How composed does Josh Waters' bike look on the brakes there? He's so hard on the brakes, the bike just simply doesn't move.
Well, it looks composed, but I'll tell you what, so does Crew Halliday sitting right behind him at the moment. This counts. I mean, Halliday's having the ride of his life here at the moment. Oh, no, that's Jones.
Jones is smoking. Mike Jones has pulled up at turn 2. Let's hope that he's got off the racing line and hasn't left any fluids on the circuit. But that is disastrous for the defending champion.
Oh,
His teammate had a no score in one of the races at Phillip Island, and Jones has a no score here at round 2.
Let's hope that whatever went wrong with that bike didn't put any fluid on the circuit.
And that is Herfoss into a podium position. We thought he was gone when he was back to 8th position.
Here we go.
There we
Look
go.
at that.
Mike Jones, that is a massive issue.
That could
be a red flag.
Let's just see. There's a lot of smoke there. The marshals are out. They'll be having a good look. We'll know soon.
So rider 1, Mike Jones has stopped. The race continues on with Crew Halliday running very, very wide on the exit of turn 11. And there's Jones's bike on its side and flames coming out of it. So that's not a good sign for the defending champion.
That is not, and that is possibly going to bring out the red flag. We'll have to wait and see, but at the moment, it's all to play for. It's the number 21, Josh Waters, go through. Halliday right behind him there.
So Halliday is just trying to stalk Waters, and on the brakes, very, very deep in there is... you can see there must be a red flag because the riders have all pulled up.
Yeah,
red flag has been put out. You can see they were very, very late in there on the brakes, and then all of a sudden they had to stop and put their hands up. So the race direction has called a halt to this race with 10 laps completed, Steve.
Well, this is going to be an interesting sprint for the last section.
So I think there, Crew Halliday and Josh Waters just discussing about how much they were looking forward to a red-hot battle over those last couple of laps.
I reckon that Crew felt that he could have probably had him there, you know what I mean? Like, he was matching his time, he caught him up, got it down to 0.3. He was there. He was ready to attack.
And attack, you know he was going to.
Well, if there's one track he's ever going to do it, it's going to be this track right here. Race declared, all over.
The race has been declared. Josh Waters will take the win from Crew Halliday and Troy Herfoss, who had just got into 3rd position. He was only 0.128 of a second behind Josh Waters when that race was declared and looking to try and take the win. Herfoss will take 3rd place, but congratulations to Josh Waters on the race win. Glenn Allenson, a solid ride for 4th. Brian Starring in 5th, CC's in 6th, Stouffer in 7th, Pearson in 8th, Collins in 9th, and Paris Hardwick, a top 10 in his Superbike debut here at his home circuit at Sydney Motorsport Park. Matt Walters in 11th, Josh Sutherland in 12th, Dominic De Leon in 13th, Scott Allars in 14th, Kemp in 15th, Mike Jones, unfortunately, a DNF for that race.
After another dominant performance, congratulations, Josh Waters. Excellent start and great lap pace.
Yeah, once again, like I said at Phillip Island, huge thanks to the guys over there, my team. They gave me an awesome bike, Martin Racing, and all of our supporters that helped us get there. So, yeah, the race wasn't easy, always far, difficult, you know, the first race. And Crew, he's been on it all weekend, so I was really happy that I could step it up and challenge him. The next race is going to be really difficult, but we'll go back, try and improve the bike, and I'll try and ride better myself.
Well, it's going to get dark pretty soon, so it should be an exciting race. We'll see you out there.
Thank you.
As we get ready for race number 2, under light Steve Martin at Sydney Motorsport Park. This is going to be absolutely fantastic. Well, here is your grid. Crew Halliday will start from pole position on board bike number 65. Mike Jones on bike number 1 in 2nd. And Josh Waters, 4 wins from 4 starts so far in the championship, rounds out the front row.
Troy Herfoss, Brian Starring and Glenn Allen, the man we were just talking about before, is row 2. Row 3, after CC's, Stauffer and Brock Pearson.
Row 4, Ted Collins, Matt Walters. He's a prettier debut here at Sydney Motorsport Park with Paris Hardwick having his first year in the championship. A top 10 result in race number 1. He'll start out of position number 12 with Josh Sutherland, Scott Allars and Dominic De Leon on row 5. Leanne Nelson won't take up her position in 16th. Michael Kemp and Nick Marsh round out the 6th row of the grid. There you can see Crew Halliday pulling up there to pole position. He got a cracking start in race number 1. It's been his weak link over the last couple of years, is the start. The man that usually gets a cracking start after CCs didn't get the best of ones. We're ready to go racing. History-making event here at Sydney Motorsport Park. Superbikes are go. Good start from Crew Halliday. Look at after CCs. Here he comes, Steve Martin, around the outside. Will he lead them down in towards turn 1? It's going to be very close, and I think Arthur could very well be slotting back into second place. Up the inside, he's at Glenn Allerton on board bike number 1. No, it's Troy Herfoss and Arthur CCs with Crew Halliday in third place. Waters in fourth and Allerton in fifth.
Yeah, and wide goes CCs.
Yeah, Arthur's wide. He's dropped back to about fourth position. Well, it's a man that's, well, he's raced pretty much everything. Supermoto, well, dirt bikes, he's been
Look at Allerton, though. Look at Allerton. Allerton's going round the outside of everyone there.
Yeah, Allerton is a man on a mission here with the new GT racing team. Drew Halliday up into second place early on. Who's that sidling through the field there? Is that Brian Starring on board the Moto Go Yamaha?
Looked like he didn't get another good start. There's Michael Kemp in the background there too, having a good run.
You can see that very dry line on the run out of turn 4 as Allerton. He's pinned the ears back. He is going hard early. Josh Waters back to fourth position.
So these conditions are what you would class as greasy. Very greasy.
Just the opportunity to slip up the inside coming here for no, Brock Pearson. I thought he was going to try and go up the inside of Brian Starring. Certainly be no love lost between those two as they make their way down into the hairpin. Looks like a good start too for Matt Walters on board the Aprilia RSV4.
Yeah, absolutely.
First time he's ridden that bike in the wet here at Sydney Motorsport Park.
Well, that bike's got a lot of torque too, so it could suit these tricky conditions out there.
As they make their way round through turn 12 for the first time, it is Glenn Allerton that leads. Drew Halliday in second. Herfoss in third, but that is, well, under threat now from Josh Waters. I tell you what, they say about how fast the Ducati is, but the Honda is not slow. It managed to hang with Waters there for a fair amount of time. Look how much they have to pull it up to go through turn 1. Certainly not the level of commitment that we saw earlier on in the dry race.
No, super tricky into there. You don't want to get that wrong either.
Yeah, super level of commitment into turn 2 on the brakes though from Herfoss.
It's good to see Brock Pearson though. He's coming good in this race, isn't he? We haven't seen much of him on screen this weekend, but he is doing a good job at hanging in there. And the more that he rides with these guys up front, even in tricky conditions like this, he can learn from them, which is what we've heard him say.
The tricky conditions are a bit of a leveller. And Brock Pearson doing a great job here, as we said, on board bike number 4, the Desmo Sport Ducati. Right behind Brock Pearson is Arthur CCs as Herfoss gives Starring a bloody nose there. And Josh Waters is under threat once again. He goes Herfoss up the inside. Excuse me, coming through. Herfoss, no beg your pardons.
Well, Herfoss at this track, which he claims is one of his favourites, is a tough racer. If you think back to the race from 2019, plenty of overtaking manoeuvres there, and Waters wants to have it back. He tries to go around the outside, but Herfoss ain't giving it to him.
Well, remember last time Herfoss was here, he was punching on with the Ducati rider. Look at this, up the inside. And looks like he's prepared to do the same in 2023, just a different rider on a different Ducati.
Now that is an AMX replay.
That certainly is. That was almost motocross there with the Rubbins Racing with Waters now back in front. Let's have a look if the Honda can utilise the slipstream of the Ducati. We come down the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance start-finish straight.
Yeah, this is the difference in the track. You know, like all that back section where it's a bit tricky, Waters has taken it a lot easier than what Herfoss is. Herfoss is pushing like crazy through that back part of the track.
Yeah, Josh Waters said he was going to play it sensible. I don't think Troy Herfoss knows the meaning of the word. He is just full mode the whole time.
Mike Jones down in 8th position at the moment. He needs a better result than that if he wants to keep that number 1 plate on. He didn't score any points in race 1.
Well, Mike Jones probably on the second bike too, I'd say, after that incident with bike number 1. So just trying to get the feel of the bike. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts to make his way through towards the end of the race, but the gap by then, Steve, is going to be well, almost insurmountable to the race leaders.
Look at Brock Pearson. Pearson's starting to make his way forward and through this group now. Onto the back of Herfoss is that.
And Brock Pearson is ahead of Brian Starring. There'll be one rider not too happy about that, and he's riding bike number 67.
Absolutely. So right on the back now of Crew Halliday is Josh Waters. They've caught those 2 front guys up super quickly in the last couple of laps.
They have Allerton now about to come under attack from Crew Halliday with Josh Waters, who's playing it sensible at the moment. Can you see, Steve? Can you tell that Josh Waters is playing it sensible? Looks to me like he is got the throttle wound absolutely to the stop as they come up the Michelin Straight.
No,
through this final group of corners now.
Waters has been taking it easy. Like, he hasn't been doing anything stupid.
Oh,
Look at that. Yeah, Herfoss goes, I'm going up the inside there. I'll take that line. Great mid-corner speed there.
Troy Herfoss went through actually some rain.
What is that?
I think that must be rain, and Glenn Allerton is saying no.
Crew Halliday's going, yep, I'll take the lead.
Crew Halliday is not worried about that at all. You can put your hand up all you like, but I'm going straight through.
Now, this is a race.
Can't see any rain on the cameras there, so Crew Halliday, he does not care one iota down to KP.
There definitely a significantly larger amount of rain is falling here, so I think things will be getting sketchy out there very shortly.
If they weren't already sketchy to start off with. But yeah, so that obviously difficult for us to see here, but with that rain coming down now, everyone will be thinking about what to do.
And also, it looks like it's only on the My Bike motorcycle insurance start-finish straight, nowhere around the circuit, which is exactly what we've seen so many times before.
Yeah, it's real tricky to tell from looking at our camera. The only way we can tell is if we see the lights up high, we can see if it's raining or not. But look how close that was there. How close is this race? 6 guys, how close?
Well, and then you've got 6 guys, and you've got a couple right behind us. We've got a red flag. Red flag has come out. Yep, that is a significant amount of rain, Steve.
There's
We're only on lap 3.
Right.
So it's going to be very interesting to see what we end up having here, because we are only 3 laps into this race, 3 completed laps into this race.
They will be putting wet weather tyres on.
So everyone will be having to make very, very quick decisions in relation to what they will do.
Wow.
And the other interesting thing is, how far will the race distance actually be?
Well, they won't be able to refuel, so it will be, if they've completed 3 laps, something like 10 or maybe even 8 laps.
We'll wait for the word from race direction, but a red flag stoppage due to rain. We'll have a short break here at Sydney Motorsport Park while they decide what we're going to do for the restart. We'll be back here at this history-making event at Feel Good Sydney. Well, Mike Jones didn't look comfortable in that first instalment. Then again, probably riding the bike that he hasn't been doing a lot of time on, because he would have been concentrating on the #1 bike as Herfoss comes up to take up his position on the grid.
This could help him in a way. This could help him. It could give him an opportunity to have come in and said, yeah, no, this is not right, that's not right, fix that, the gear lever's not right. Do you know what I mean? So if they've had enough time, they might have been able to make a few adjustments. It's going to make him a lot more competitive.
Right, so your revised grid will see Crew Halliday start from pole position, Glenn Allerton in second and Troy Herfoss in third, Pearson, Waters and Starring on the second row of the grid, CC Jones and Stouffer on the third row of the grid, and Collins, Walters and Paris Hardwick on the fourth row. Ready to go racing again. Alpine Star Superbikes are go. Great start once again from Crew Halliday, but here comes Arthur CC's around the outside. Is he going to have the courage to go through turn 1 and 4 hill? And he does. And he takes the lead after CC's on board bike number 61. The Unitech Racing Machine is back at the front where we expected at the start of every race.
Allerton's up there too. Herfoss, look at that. Herfoss around the outside, splits the Yamahas at the moment. Takes second, does he? No.
Yep, Arthur was a little bit wide on the brakes in turn 2, and Crew Halliday said thank you very much. There was enough room to get the Yamaha race transporter up the inside, and Crew Halliday said thank you, I'll take that line. And takes up the running in the lead with Herfoss in second, Arthur CC's in third, Glenn Allerton trying to go around the outside in fourth, Pearson in fifth, then it's Josh Waters in sixth place on board bike number 21. Well, Josh Waters said he was going to play it smart in race 1, Steve. In the first part of race 2. I bet you he's going to do exactly that in this one as well.
Well, at the moment, he's back a decent amount in that sixth position. He didn't get a great start. It's a lot harder to pass people in this short of a race as well. So I don't think he would have planned to be taking it that easy.
You can see the rain there is falling. All bit of a moment there for a Halliday. Herfoss goes down the inside into the hairpin at turn 9. So big move there from Troy Herfoss.
Well, Herfoss has been so strong, winning a race at the end last year at Tail and Bend. He's in it to win it this year, and Phillip Island probably had his best results he's ever had. He wasn't happy. He would love to win one here.
All right, so Herfoss leads as they come round through turn 12, the Yamaha Financial Services corner. And out onto the My Bike motorcycle insurance start, finish straight.
Mike Jones is down in 10th position again, so not gelling with that bike.
Yeah, Matt Walters also a little bit further back than we'd expect. He is a pretty good wet weather rider, but also noticeably they don't have any spares for that Aprilia as well, so probably just had to try and get some wet weather tyres in it and change the setup as they try and develop that machine.
Look at Allerton leaning on everybody, runs wide, Waters goes through and takes another spot.
Yeah, that was a big commitment. Look at the rain now, Steve, over at turn 2. The Motul corner is going to be very, very slippery with that amount of rain falling.
But
across the top of the hill and down into turn 4. Look at Herfoss.
Oh, he's doing a great job at the moment, isn't he, Herfoss? Allerton will not give up, will he? He is such a tough rider.
Tell you who's not going to give up either. That is the rider on board bike number 65. He's still, you can see, he's just pinning the ears back, trying to make sure that he goes with Troy Herfoss.
He's trying, he's
trying. Got the foot out, he's run
wide. And look,
Herfoss.
he is wide.
And Josh Waters is now into the race lead.
Oh, my goodness. Waters went from 4th to 1st.
I think it was a lot slipperier in that part of the circuit than what everyone expected as they came flying in there at full tilt. Herfoss ran off, Halliday was wide, Waters came from 3rd through to the race lead. Arthur Cece's still in there on board the Unitech machine, bike number 61. Next rider through after Arthur Cece's is Brian Starring on the Moto Go Yamaha. Then we've got Ted Collins on the Livson Racing BMW M1000RR in 8th, Max Stouffer in 9th, and Mike Jones rounds out the top 10. Here's Herfoss. Look at him there, just trying to keep the bike somewhere near the racing line, out onto the asphalt on the outside of the circuit. And Crew Halliday, who was also running wide, allowed Josh Waters to take the lead.
Then back up the inside goes the number 17 Herfoss on the Penrite Honda.
So it is the Ducati, the McMartin Racing with Ducati, the McMartin Racing with K-Tech Ducati of Josh Waters that leads, and he's opened up a 0.7 of a second lead in the half a lap. So they come down into Motul corner now. It is Allerton in 2nd, Halliday in 3rd, Arthur Cece's in 4th, Brock Pearson in 5th. You predicted Brock Pearson would go well, Stephen. That prediction was well-founded. What a performance. This could actually be one of his best performances on board that Desmo Sport Ducati.
Well, he has had a podium before, but this year they've struggled with one thing or another, so let's hope that he can build his confidence up and get a good result here. But Troy Herfoss, he will be steaming in that helmet and dips up the inside, makes a spot, moves up to 5th position.
Yeah, good move there from Herfoss. Just having a look now as Waters comes in there. That was the area where at the circuit 1 lap ago where he took the race lead.
Waters is the absolute real deal right now. He's, even in these wet conditions, right, he's getting into the corners, which is got to do with the feel and how you're riding the bike better than anybody. Do you know what I mean?
But also, time to go down to KP for a quick update.
Glenn Allerton, he has not ridden this wet setup bike. I know that they were feeling a little underprepared coming into this weekend, but yeah, he hasn't even ridden this wet setup bike.
Right, well, there you go. Brand new motorcycle for Glenn Allerton. First time he's ridden it, and he's doing pretty well. 2nd place at the moment as they come onto the My Bike motorcycle insurance start finish straight to complete 3 laps. So just 1 lap shy of half race distance. The lead for Josh Waters, 1.8 seconds.
2 seconds a lap quicker than everybody else.
In fact, now it's out to 2.3 seconds, a 41.5, the fastest lap of the race for Josh Waters. On the last lap, everybody else back into the high 42s, low 43s.
Yeah, that's a pretty decent lap time. I mean, he's got nothing to lose. He's pretty much won every race and everything this year so far, so it would have been easy for him in this race to just consolidate, but he hasn't done that in these tricky conditions. He's just like put the pedal down and away he's just left them for dead.
Well, one of the things that we've mentioned plenty of times this year is not only the way that Josh Waters is riding the bike, it's the way that Craig McMartin is preparing him, and also the way that Adrian Monti is able to set the bikes up as Herfoss makes that big move on Arthur Cece's. But the way that Adrian Monti and the team have been able to adapt that bike so quickly from a dry setup to a wet setup to allow Josh Waters to ride like this, retuned the K-Tech suspension, got the electronic package set up to be able to ride this bike in these very, very tricky conditions and open up such a massive lead in such a short amount of time is just absolutely spectacular. Allerton, though, still managing to hold off. Is Allerton the hardest man to overtake in this class? Because over the last couple of rounds, that's what it appears to be.
No, absolutely. I mean, he is just one of the toughest riders. The reason for that is because he's so good on the brakes. It's incredible what he does. He just like gets it in there, maybe slows down in the corner a little bit because his settings aren't right. Because it's a new team, he doesn't have an electronics guy with him. There's many reasons why he's doing what he's doing, but it won't be long and they'll be able to get that thing sorted, and then he'll be, fast everywhere like he was at Phillip Island.
Well, it is Josh Waters that leads by 5.2 seconds over Glenn Allerton and Crew Halliday. Of course, this class proudly brought to you by Alpine Stars as Herfoss sits there in fourth position.
Through Motul Corner they go, and it is very, very, very tight for that second position. Arthur Ceces is in that group. How much would he love a podium?
Well, Arthur's been knocking on the door of a podium now for the last 18 months, and to do it here in these very tricky conditions would be satisfying at a circuit that he openly admits is not one of his favourites. It could very well be by the end of tonight.
And this is scrapping at its best. I mean, look at Herfoss make his way through that pack. Meanwhile, up the road to Waters,
he's gone.
40.6, 3 seconds quicker than Glenn Allerton in second position last time round.
Where has he gone, Steve? He's almost on his way back to Mildura.
Yeah, literally.
There he is. He just flashed out of our screen as we wait for the rest of the riders to come through, as Herfoss now is in second position and trying to pull away from Glenn Allerton. Crew Halliday in fourth position there behind.
Oh, bit of a moment there from Halliday.
Herfoss has managed to take up 2 positions in the space of 1 sector on the racetrack, with Arthur Ceces and Brock Pearson doing a good job to stay with Crew Halliday.
Look, there's no doubt that Herfoss is doing a fantastic job out there. It's just unfortunate for him, there's already a man at the bottom of this front straight who's just gone through that last time at another 40.2 versus Herfoss's time of a 42.2, so 2 seconds a lap.
They've just completed 5 laps. I think the last 3 at least have all been the fastest laps of the race from Josh Waters. He's just building momentum, getting faster and faster. His lead now 7.471 seconds over Troy Herfoss in second position. Herfoss has run wide. Coming back on the inside is Crew Halliday. Couldn't quite get up the inside of the Penrite Honda on board the Yamaha racing team YZF R1M.
No, absolutely. Doing the best job he can there, Crew Halliday. Not the way that he wanted this weekend to go, that's for sure. I think that he felt coming into this weekend he was probably going to get a win. But once again, it's all gone against him. You know what I mean? Like, he's got good starts all weekend, but the weather's come into play.
What, a red flag?
The red flag. It's all sort of like, it just hasn't gone his way.
But also at the same time, Steve, he's been able to take away solid points from the weekend and consolidate that... well, could have been disastrous race 1 at Phillip Island, where he scored no points due to no fault of his own once again.
100%. But, he's, I'd still say, a new crew this year.
He is the new crew, but for sure, 100% agree there as we watched Arthur Ceces try and get past the very experienced Glenn Allerton. Well, that GT Racing BMW M1000RR is about 17 foot wide at the moment as far as Arthur Ceces is concerned, because there's just simply no way past. Allerton's late on the brakes, he gets good acceleration, and the M1000RR is fast in a straight line.
Look, it's a very complicated bike in its race form. As a road bike, it's great. You just hit a button and away you go. But in a race form, it's got that many adjustments on it electronically that if you don't, as Arthur Ceces goes by, well, if you don't get it set up right, it's going to be tricky. And the team's new; they just need to get an electronics person to set it up.
Well, we know the thing is fast, and it got good drive off the corner, but how fast was Arthur Ceces?
Well, look, Arthur's quick, and also in these conditions, all it takes is to get a great drive out of the drive difference out of that final corner is a lot.
And what was
with the wet.
And what was Arthur's previous career? Speedway racing, trying to find traction where there isn't any, so he's been able to do that exactly. Let's see now if he can hunt down Crew Halliday and Troy Herfoss. And if he gets past Crew Halliday, that could very well be the first podium for Arthur Ceces in the Unitech racing team in the ASBK category.
He's left himself a lot of work to do, but he's got the speed to do it at the moment.
1.5 laps.
Yeah, he's there. He's catching up to these guys. He's right on the back. His team will have everything crossed on the pit wall. Meanwhile, this guy's team are also going to have everything crossed, because his last lap, again, a 40.4, he's just killing it.
Well, Josh Waters, I'd like to see the last time someone started off an ASBK season with 5 race wins from 5 starts. I don't think it would have been done for quite some time, as Herfoss and Halliday, they'll come round through these final corners here to go down the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance start finish straight and get the last lap board. Josh Waters, he's almost on his way to the airport. As they come down here, let's see what the gap is back to Arthur Cece's as they come across the line. So it was a 41.7, 41.8 for Herfoss and Halliday, 41.5 for Arthur. He's 0.3 of a second faster on the last lap, and the gap to Halliday is 0.8 of a second.
It's possible. It is possible, especially if these two guys in front, like you've got to imagine that Crew Halliday's going to have a go. He's going to have a go at Troy Herfoss, which will maybe take them both wide. Keep an eye out. Arthur Cece's is not out off that podium yet.
This could be the last lap of his life for Arthur Cece's. As Herfoss hangs on to second, Halliday hangs on to third. Cece's desperation to try and get onto the podium for the first time. Round through the back of the circuit we go. Halliday not close enough to make a move. Neither is Brock Pearson close enough to Glenn Allerton to try and make a move. Can Pearson use the slipstream coming down the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance start finish straight at the end of the race to take that 5th position off Allerton? The gap, if anything, from Herfoss to Halliday has even opened up a fraction on this lap, Steve, as they make their way down through Honda now and into turn 9 for the final time. It's going to have to be a miraculous last couple of corners for Crew Halliday if he's going to take second and have a go at Troy Herfoss. But no one can get near this man. He's coming up through the final corners now on the McMartin Racing with K-Tech machine as they make their way through the final corners and out onto the start-finish straight. Josh Waters, 5 from 5. What a way to start your ASBK season on board bike number 21. He takes the race win. Pumps his fist as he goes across the line. Troy Herfoss on track to take second position. And Glenn Allerton will take 4th position as we... Wow, what a fantastic ride from Josh Waters. Takes the win by 6.3 seconds over Troy Herfoss. Crew Halliday in 3rd. What a race win. 6.3 seconds in an 8-lap race in treacherous conditions, and did not look like it was any trouble at all for Josh Waters.
To do what he did is not easy. You have to be in the zone, and he was in the zone. He's a special rider. Let's face it, he's done some incredible things in his career, but he is riding now better than he's ever ridden.
So Josh Waters takes the win by 6.324 seconds over Troy Herfoss. Crew Halliday in 3rd. Arthur Cece's desperately close to that first podium in 4th place. Glenn Allerton in 5th. Brock Pearson in 6th. Ted Collins in 7th. Max Stover in 8th. Brian Starring in 9th. And Mike Jones rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, Michael Kemp, what a result for him in 11th, the South Australian. Good to see him. He'll be pinching himself on the way home. Paris Hardwick in 12th. Scott Alars in 13th. Nicholas Marsh gets some points too, as does Josh Sutherland. Dominic De Leon finishes 16th. And Matt Walters didn't finish.
And in P1, Josh Waters, you know, we weren't sure if you were going to run away with it, but then you certainly did. Well done on that win.
Yeah, I got to take them while I can. I say it every time, but a huge thanks to my team, McMartin Racing, all of our sponsors that are making it possible to happen. So I made it boring, but I know it's not going to be like that all year, so I need to take it while I can. Huge thanks to, again, to the team and all my personal sponsors.
And how were the conditions out there?
Wet. Yeah, obviously wet, which it was the first time that we've ridden in the wet this year. So no practice, stuff like that. You were kind of feeling it out, and yeah, obviously we got the settings right for those conditions. So again, huge thanks to the team, and my job was easier.
All your experience paid off. Well done, Josh.
Nah, thanks heaps.
Well, congratulations to Josh Waters and the McMartin Racing team. Josh Waters is now 8 race wins for 5 victories at Sydney Motorsport Park, and he leads the championship on 126 points over Troy Herfoss on 91. You can see he was happy with that result too. Glenn Allerton in 3rd on 83. Crew Halliday's moved up to 4th on 79, a solid round for Crew. Arthur Cece's in 5th on 72. Ted Collins in 6th. Brian Starring in 7th. Mike Jones in 8th. Brock Pearson in 9th. And Matt Walters rounds out the top 10 of your Alpine Stars Superbike Category Championship. That's the second round of the Australian Superbike Championship for 2023. The next round, the 28th to the 30th of April at Queensland Raceway, just outside of Brisbane. The fourth round of the championship, we go north to the Northern Territory and Darwin's Hidden Valley in conjunction with the Supercars Championship. In July, we go to Morgan Park Raceway in Queensland for round 5, the 14th to the 16th of July. The Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit for the penultimate round on the 27th to the 29th of October. And then the final round of the year, the first weekend in December, the 1st to the 3rd at the Bend Motorsport Park in South Australia. The next round of the championship, round 3 at Wodonga, the 16th of April. Round 4, we go to Maitland on the 6th to the 7th of May. Round 5 at Gilman in South Australia on the 28th of May. Queensland hosts round 6 and 7 with Toowoomba on the 25th of June and Queensland Moto Park on the 13th of August. And then Coolum, the final round of the championship, round 8 on the 19th and 20th of August. Plenty more action to come. We have a mid-season of racing coming up in the Alpine Stars Superbike category. The next round of the championship, only 1 month to wait at Queensland's Raceway in 1 month's time. Plenty of action there. 2 races, and Mike Jones was the victor in both races last year. Can he do the same and get his championship defence back on track? We'll find out at Queensland Raceway. We'll see you there.